So good day everyone, and welcome to this introduction to the new InOut PYR series. I am Matteo from Prase Media Technologies, and my main activities in Prase are related to tech support, and one of the brands I support is InOut. About that, we probably had some talks in the past on MP players or older P01 and D01 regarding configuration or feature request. So it is a pleasure to me to meet you here after these last not easy times. In this area, we have actually restored all our normal activities, always with social distancing limitations. About that, due to COVID emergency, we have had to modify our timeline. So I ask you sorry for delaying this product's launch, and sorry also for lack of detail about the new firmware release. It has been rescheduled for the next week, and we will promptly inform you about that. Okay, let's take a look at the new InOut PYR series. Let's start with the PYR S5. The power supply for this sensor have to be from 5 VDC to 24 VDC. The maximum distance for motion detection is 5 meters, and it is equipped with 2 TTL output, one with positive pulse and one with negative pulse. The duration of the output pulse is adjustable from 1 second to 10 seconds. And also the inhibition time is adjustable between the two detections, from 5 to 12 seconds. It is also available a retriggerable mode function, and it is available an input to disable the sensor compatible with I/O player in-out or external contact. On board, there is a bicolor LED indication, green and red, and the power consumption is 70 milliwatt max. The dimensions are very small. The player is not so big. The sensor, sorry. And it is available in 2 different colors, white or dark gray, as you can see from the image in this slide. The case is in ABS, and the weight is just 30 grams. The S series includes also the S12. The specifics are the same that we see for S5, except from the distance for motion detection. The S12 is able to detect motions till 12 meters. While the S5, as we see, is able to detect motion within 5 meters. The lower distance detection for the S5 has a positive side, a more accurate range detection. So the S5 model is the right choice for detailed application, especially where it is necessary to capture less noticeable motions. Here we have a simple application for the S series. An S5 detects people presence and motion and allows to play a message through the high directivity speakers installed. At this point, it is possible to select the audio message in the preferred language. In the case of the S series, all the options related to the sensor setting have been done in the dedicated web page, which is included in MP10 player. Sorry. Now we see the detail of the web page, which is related to the sensor setting. As said, the S-series sensor is equipped with the TTL output, so it is suggested to use it with the MP10 player, which is equipped with a specific sensor input. So we can manage the sensor with specific settings. These settings are the following: sensor enable, switch on and off the motion sensor; pause time, which allow to setting pause time between two activation of the ER sensor; autoplay time, setting autoplay time for playing of a message when the ER sensor is not activated. A very useful function, especially in a museum application or open to public. Play delay time, setting delay time of the play audio file from the activation of the ER sensor. This is a typical parameters for this kind of application. Power on stability time, setting time when MP10 power on. During this stage, the output status is undefined and detection is therefore not guaranteed. So it disable for the startup of the player, and the sensor do not detect movement during this startup. Bind a playlist allows to select a playlist when the sensor is activated. Always about the sensor settings, we have stop playlist after, setting time, stop playlist without any activation. So the player does not play any playlist if the sensor do not detect any motions. So we see that the S-series sensors, so both S5 and S12, are dedicated to MP10 because of the TTL output and the web page dedicated. The L12 is the second series of the InOut PYR sensor. It allows a maximum distance for motion detection of 12 meters. And in this case, it is equipped with relay contact. So freeway COM, normally open and normally closed contact. The pulse duration of the output contact with time adjustable, 2 seconds to 1 minute. And also in this case, inhibition time adjustment between two detection, 5 seconds to 12 minutes. It is also available a dual mode function, retriggerable and non-retriggerable, and an input to disable the sensor. Also, L12 is equipped with a bicolor LED indication and another LED that indicates the sensor disabling. Also, this model, as the S-series, is available in white and dark gray. Operating temperature and storage temperature are the same as S-series. this is the same also about protection category, which is EP20. Now we see another simple application. In this case, is related to MP5 and L12 sensor. An external timer inhibits the sensor for a specific interval, and once it has passed, allows the message to be played. Obviously with motion detection. Okay, let's now take a look at to the S series and MP10 integration. First of all, you have to realize the correct cabling. It is not complicated, and you can follow this slide or the included documentation. In this slide, we can see an L12, which is connected directly to the logic input of MP10, and an S12, which is connected to the sensor input of the MP10. Obviously, the L12 will be configured with the onboard control, so all the options related to sensor setting will be made with the internal jumper and pot. While the S12, which is equipped with TTL output and is connected to the sensor input of MP10, could be managed by the dedicated web page as we see before. You can see that both the sensors are equipped with a negative and positive out in order to detect the two states of the sensor, both the S series and the L series. In the detail for the L12 model, you can consider the sensor output as normally open, normally closed COM contact, and connected to the player as normal logic contact. Due to the low request of power supply, you can use the parallel output of the player, or you can simply use the same voltage input that you use for the player. As you can see, for the L12, used in combination with the smaller player of InOut. This is a quick comparison between the three models. These are the main differences between S5, S12, and L12. Thanks to normal COM contact output, L12 is a more plug-and-play sensor. It could simply be considered as a logic input to the MP player. All the setup operation, time adjusting, inhibition time, and retrigger capability have to be applied by adjusting the related pot and switch, as we see before. While from the player side, you only have to set up the logic input properties, such as continuous play, restart, and interrupt. For this reason, it suits perfectly MP2 and MP5 player. So for MP2 and MP5, we suggest to use L to L. The S series has only TTL output, and this means that it has been created to be used in conjunction with MP10, which is the main player in our catalog. In fact, it is equipped by a specific sensor input, which allows to manage and configure all the sensor options: time adjusting, inhibition time, and red trigger, all by the player web page, giving the possibility of better and faster setup. Obviously, this can work perfectly in a museum or artistic installation and other application where versatility is needed. Okay, that's all about this very quick introduction. If you have some questions, you can write directly in the chat of the webinar, or if you prefer, you can write me an email to the info@prase.it, sorry, and I will answer you as soon as possible. Okay, Lars asks if it's possible to have the slides of this webinar. Surely, this webinar has been recorded, and the link of the webinar will be available in short time. The S series, as said before, is can be used with only with MP10 because of the dedicated sensor input, while the L series could be used with all the NP models, MP2, MP5, and MP10. With MP10, is also possible to use both kind of sensor in the same time. So is series connected to sensor input, and L series connected to the logic input. About the angle of detection, the sensor is the vertical angle is 110 degrees, while the horizontal angle is 100 degrees. It is also possible to manage a more accurate detection point by installing a pipe in the sensor, so you can be more accurate in the people detection.